Macmillan Audio presents The Island by Ragnar Jónasson, read for you by Amanda Redman.
A mind can be turned by a single cruel word. Care should be taken in the presence of a soul. Einar Benediktsson, from Starkauer's Soliloquies. Prologue. Kópavogur, 1988. The babysitter was late. The couple hardly ever went out in the evening, so they had been careful to check she was free well in advance. She had babysat for them a few times before and lived in the next street, but apart from that, they didn't know much about her, or her family either, though they knew her mother to speak to when they ran into her in the neighbourhood. But their 7-year-old daughter looked up to the girl, who was 21 and seemed very grown up and glamorous to her. She was always talking about how much fun they had together, what pretty clothes she wore, and what exciting bedtime stories she told. Their daughter's eagerness to have her round to babysit made the couple feel less guilty about accepting the invitation. They felt reassured that their little girl would not only be in good hands, but would enjoy herself too. They had arranged for the girl to babysit from 6 until midnight, but it was already past 6, getting on for past, in fact, and the dinner was due to start at 7. The husband wanted to ring and ask what had happened to her, but his wife was reluctant to make a fuss. She'd turn up. It was a Saturday evening in March, and the atmosphere had been one of happy anticipation until the babysitter failed to turn up. The couple were looking forward to an entertaining evening with the wife's colleagues from the ministry, and their daughter was excited about spending the evening watching films with the babysitter. They didn't own a VCR, but as it was a special occasion, father and daughter had gone down to the local video shop and rented a machine and 3 tapes, and the little girl had permission to stay up as late as she liked until she ran out of steam. It was just after 6:30 when the doorbell finally rang. The family lived on the 2nd floor of a small block of flats in Kópavogur, the town immediately to the south of Reykjavik. It was a sleepy sort of place, stuck between Reykjavik and other towns in the metropolitan area, with most of its inhabitants commuting to work in the capital. The mother picked up the entry phone. It was the babysitter at last. She appeared at their door a few moments later, soaked to the skin, and explained that she'd walked over. It was raining so hard, it looked like she'd had a bucket of water emptied over her head. She apologised, embarrassed for being so late. The couple waved away her apologies, thanked her for standing in for them, reminded her of the main house rules, and asked if she knew how to work a video recorder, at which point their daughter broke in to say she didn't need any help. Clearly she could hardly wait to bundle her parents out of the door so the video fest could begin. In spite of the taxi waiting outside, the mother couldn't tear herself away. Although they went out from time to time, she wasn't very used to leaving her daughter. "Don't worry," the babysitter said at last. "I'll take good care of her." She looked comfortingly reliable as she said this, and she'd always done a good job of looking after their daughter in the past. So they finally headed out into the downpour towards the taxi. As the evening wore on, the mother began to feel increasingly anxious about their daughter. "Don't be silly," said her husband. "I bet she's having a whale of a time." Glancing at his watch, he added, "She'll be on her 2nd or 3rd film by now, and they'll have polished off all the ice cream." "Do you think they'd let me use the phone at the front desk?" asked his wife. "It's a bit late to ring them now, isn't it? I expect they're asleep in front of the TV." In the end, they set off home a little earlier than planned, just after 11. The 3-course dinner was over by then, and to be honest, it had been a bit underwhelming. The main course, which was lamb, had been bland at best, and after dinner, people had piled onto the crowded dance floor. To begin with, the DJ had played popular oldies, but then he moved on to the more recent chart hits, which weren't really the couple's sort of thing, although they still liked to think of themselves as young. After all, they weren't middle-aged yet. They rode home in silence, the rain streaming down the taxi's windows. The truth was, they weren't really party people. They were too fond of their creature comforts at home, and the evening had tired them out, though they hadn't drunk much, just a glass of red wine with dinner. As they got out of the taxi, the wife remarked that she hoped their daughter was asleep, so they could both
Sample complete. Ready to continue?